My experience of being an indie game designer can only really be described as diving into a bottomless pit, all in hopes of one day find some ounce of success and moving yet another inch away from the crippling poverty and all comes in dread I'm rightly destined. 6 years pretending to be a video game designer. Released only one game in all that time called Near Near, and now it was a commercial failure. Then again, Near Near's failure was due to a wide range of dread-inducing errors. That being said, would I take a different path than the creative seppuku that I stumbled into? Yeah, most likely. But time machines don't exist, and I'm stuck with the rotting pile of sleep-decimating decisions I've made. So why am I here? Well, as being an indie game designer, and overall failure wasn't challenging enough, I also decided to start a series of videos logging my incompetent journey as I create an entirely new indie game from starry-eyed beginnings to mind-melting madness. All in hopes that I'll find some form of success, or at the very least be a disastrous example on how not to live your life. If I'm extra lucky, I may even solve my crippling loneliness and overall dread that encompasses my life on a daily basis. So the game, to keep it brief and not to give away every single detail right now, imagine commanding a small crew on board an ironclad airship as it dives deeper and deeper into a dark, hazardous, mind-melting anomaly, all in the hopes of harvesting what secrets it holds deep below in the shadows. Now to be clear, this is less about piloting a ship and more about an all-out siege, having crew members operating control panels, shooting out windows, barricading, welding shut breaches, and performing research on unknown artifacts, all while an endless barrage of monsters and environmental hazards try to consume the lonely ship and its crew. With all that said, perhaps I should give you a report of the current state of development. Spoiler, it's not great. Firstly, pre-production, art style, core game loops, music, you know, the stuff I change a billion times depending on how many head injuries I receive. That said, music and art, much like my life, is an abstract mess of ideas and thoughts with no solid foundation or direction. But core game loops and subsystems within the game are all mostly figured out. Well, as figured out as anyone can expect from someone whose highest grade during secondary school was an E, and to my parents' dismay, not the lowest grade either. Game development, much like pre-production, well, no, much worse. Nothing's been designed yet, or even experimented in engine. Granted, we have to start somewhere, right? Even if it's been in this state for far longer than I'd ever want to admit. And before I get asked, yes, I'll be using Unity along with some third-party tools, like Bolt, a visual scripter to replace coding. Why no coding? Because I can barely read and write in English, let alone C#. Third on the list, funding. As most already know, game design is sadly not the most stable career paths, whether that be in terms of income, pension, job security, physical health, mental health, social life, or really anything for that matter. And because I want shelter and food to keep this husk of a body barely functioning for the foreseeable future, I work part-time in a grocery store. It's far from the worst job in the world, it pays alright, and it's only 2 days a week. That being said though, it's as fulfilling as putting a plastic straw in my knob and sucking. Rent is fairly cheap due to the fact I'm living with 3 other guys. Plus, the attic I sleep/work in is insulated enough to muffle my crying. Other than that, I also get universal credit in the UK, what honestly helps a fantastic amount and is in my opinion underrated. After all the damage, and as long as I don't spend my wages on anything fun or uplifting, that's about £380 a month with £1,000 currently in the bank that I can invest into this nightmare. Marketing, much like my love life, also absolutely nothing. Well, not necessarily nothing, I have a small Twitter account along with a devlog, so a notch above. That said, I don't intend for these videos into my moronic life to receive much in terms of viewership, but if I'm extra lucky, someone other than my disappointed parents may see it. Deadlines. Technically, don't have any, other than the looming shadow of old age. And with that in mind, and it is always in mind, I want to try and get this all done within fall next year 2020. It's always good to set unrealistic goals that can't be reached. So where does this leave me overall? Well, pre-production is barely done, nothing is in engine yet, funding is hardly enough for anything substantial, and marketing is a sad reflection of my social life, as in barren and dry. Considering I soft-started this project a few months ago, I can only really call this a complete mess. So, what do I do to turn this house fire of a mess around and finally start heading in the right direction? Well, firstly, at the very least I need to start prototyping and building systems within Unity, and finally get a foundation to build this nightmare-fueled game from. Secondly, art design needs major progress to have any chance of creating a thick atmosphere. But thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, is creating a marketing strategy to avoid abject failure by crippling obscurity. And that pretty much wraps it up. Next video next month, and that's it. Finn,